And welcome back. Now, you do know it is Women's Month all of August, and my next guest established her business in 2005 when she identified a niche in the local market for refurbishing containers. Isivuno Container Business is a container conversion, rental and supply company that's based in Pinetown in KwaZulu-Natal, and it offers a creative solution to the dire shortage of infrastructure as well as service delivery in both urban and rural communities in South Africa. And these refurbished containers can be erected within a short space of time, and they're also mobile and very versatile. The owner of this innovative business joins me now in studio. So let us welcome Beverley Gumbi. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you so much.
So Beverley, how did it all start?
Basically, we started in 2005 after identifying a niche in the market. I was exposed to information that there was more demand as opposed to the supply. I was told that there were more people looking for containers than suppliers of containers, predominantly in the black communities. So one had to do a feasibility study and check how true that was. And I realized that there was a lot of demand, and I decided to set up this innovative business.
So what exactly do you do in terms of the supply side of it?
We basically source the shipping containers from the shipping lines, and then our clients do the inquiries, and then we tailor-make these containers according to clients' needs. For instance, a client would come in with a business idea. In a case where they lack infrastructure, what we basically do is to put together a container that meets the client's needs. It ranges between storages, internet cafes, hair salons. Those are for people who want to start their own businesses. And then you go to the service containers where maybe the crashes or the ECDs do not have things like the sick rooms for the kids. They do not have the kitchens. They do not have the offices. So that's where we come in. And the good thing about it is that we package all of these container units into ready-to-use units. For instance, a person could come in, make an inquiry, and then maybe in a week's time we're able to supply and deliver a container that's ready to use.
So what is the most elaborate refurbishment that you've ever done on a container?
Personally, I think a cinema. There's one innovation that we came up with. Our client came with an idea and just a photograph of what they were looking for. We had absolutely no clue where to start. But I was very impressed with the level of creativity that went into that cinema. Because we had to sit down with the graphic designers, apply our minds into it, just think how we were going to structure it, because we hadn't done it before. Remember, a cinema has got to come with the seating arrangement. It has to come with a screen. It has to come with the overhead projectors to project. So we had to put all of those together. And also bearing in mind that it must look good and be exciting for the beneficiaries and our clients.
So was the client happy, and how many people could you seat in the cinema?
It was a 25-seater cinema. We're not sure at the beginning, but we ended up being able to fit in a 25-seater, and the client was exceptionally happy. They were very impressed.
And do you know where that was set up?
Yes, it's in Hammersdale, back in Durban, in KZN.
Oh, very interesting. But just for interest's sake, how much would that cost, for example, to set up a container that is a cinema?
That ranges between 150,000 to 200,000 rands, with all the fittings, with the fittings inside the seating arrangement, with the structure, with the electricals, air conditioners, the projection screens, and everything fitted and delivered to site.
So all the client has to do is plug it in and it's good to go?
Definitely. Oh. Because the idea is that, you know, when people start businesses or they've got certain needs, they have to go to different service providers or product survivors, if I could say that, and source all these things differently. Our mandate is to make sure that whatever they are going to look for is packaged And that's our mandate, that's our responsibility. We collect everything together, put it into one roof, into one container unit, and then we supply it like that, so that we avoid the running around, because we find that clients have got to go and look for the structure. I mean, if they want to go brick and mortar a direction, that takes a long time. And then we package everything, and then we supply that ready to use for them.
So Beverley, what have been some of the challenges that you have faced in this business?
Well, cash flow is always a problem for a startup business. And also there were a few things that one was not aware of when we started. Things like the financials, to be able to interpret your own financials, you need a bit of mentoring. But I was lucky enough to be identified by SAB in 2007. Between 2007 and 2008, and I was taken through a mentorship program where all these weaknesses were identified, and then they provided us with refresher courses and some empowerment courses to ensure that everything is done accordingly, and so that we are able to be above board.
So just as a parting shot, what sort of motivational messages would you leave us with, especially for some budding entrepreneurs out there?
Well, in my experience, everyone has got a wonderful idea in their hearts and in their minds. So as an entrepreneur who's been around for a few years, I would say give life to that idea. Give it some eyes, give it a heart, give it a soul. Because by doing that, the idea is going to live and it's going to survive. And you don't know how far the idea could take you.
Absolutely. Beverley, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for the motivation. And Beverley Gumbi, of course, in 2005 established her own business, Isivuno Container Business, and now she has her own logistics company to go with that. Also a finalist in the 2018 Entrepreneur of the Year Award. So we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll read more of your messages and also take a look at some of the other things bouncing around.